To the left of me here is the Viewsonic 32-inch 4K monitor that is aimed at professionals. However, everywhere I turn, there seems to be this stigma going on that this monitor is not for gamers. And I'm disagreeing with that because I'm here to tell you that this monitor is phenomenal for gaming. When I put this thing through 1000 FPS testing, and yes, I can now test at 1000 FPS, I figured out the settings on my beautiful 4K camera, I was blown away. This thing was giving me input lag of like sub 20 milliseconds from the mouse click to the total time it took the actual screen to change in CSGO. And as you can see in this video, by the time my finger from slamming it so hard is bouncing up off the mouse, this thing is giving out a response. Absolutely phenomenal low input lag. So it does have 3 input lag levels, and this is on the ultra fast setting, which I recommend everyone keep on, and it's on by default, by the way. Now, with response times as well, you're probably thinking this is an IPS panel and it has ghosting. And yes, it does exhibit a little bit of ghosting, but it isn't bad. If you set this to the fastest ultra fast response time, I found the ghosting was actually quite decent, especially for a beautiful IPS panel like this. However, of course, the downside is it doesn't feature any variable refresh rate technology like FreeSync or G-Sync, but if you guys have followed me for a while, you'll know that I prefer NSYNC. I mean no sync. Welcome back to Tech Yes City. This is Brian coming to you guys today with a review. And as I said in the intro, this thing can do gaming absolutely fine. However, it is geared up towards professional use. When I tested this with the X-Rite controller here, it gave out phenomenal results. Of course, the monitor to the left here being calibrated by X-Rite professional tools themselves, I found there was virtually no difference when I tried to do the tests with the i1 Display Pro. So everything on this monitor out of the box with the Srgb profile is ready to go. So if you're a professional video editor or if you're a professional photographer and you need color accuracy, then this thing out of the box will give you just that. However, one thing I will critique is that the brightness out of the factory is set to 100. It is practically too bright for anyone, for any professional use out of the box. I found I was getting over 330 ccD of brightness, and honestly, I had to back it down to around about 50, which then gave me around 180 ccD. So this is where I like to use it personally. It isn't really in that professional field of 80 to 120. Though of course, if you want that field, then you can drop it down to 30 and it'll give you those levels you so desire if you need them. Also, further on the note of color calibration, not only is every individual monitor calibrated out of the factory with the 3268-4K, but you also get an individual report as well. So not only is it properly calibrated out of the factory, but it's also quality checked as well. And look at the surface of the monitor itself. It features a matte anti-glare coating. It's a 3H rating. Honestly, sunlight will not be a problem with this monitor. If you use it in an environment like mine at the moment where I've got no blinds to control light, then this monitor is great for still getting a very clear picture as opposed to a gloss panel, which although looks great in complete darkness, in the sunlight it does suffer. This thing here, even though it's got that matte coating, still gives through a beautiful picture as well. So they've used an excellent anti-glare coating on this monitor. However, the uniformity of the luminance was lit across the panel very evenly, near perfect, and the backlight bleeding was very minimal. And cross-hatching as well. When I pulled up an orange background, I saw no visible cross-hatching as well. So this is 60 Hz 4K. Now the display ports, you've got 2, one mini and also one full-sized 1.2 display ins, and also 2 HDMI 2.0 ins as well. There's also 4 USB 3 outs which can connect to your computer via USB-B and give you those 4 ports that you can use if you need them. Now besides the 4 display ins and 4 USB outs, it also has a line out and audio out jack as well, so you can use it with headphones, plug them direct to the monitor if cable management's a problem, or also give a line out to a separate receiver. There is also as well built-in speakers that surprisingly didn't sound too half bad. I mean, you could use these speakers for clutch video editing, especially for smartphones, and still get decent results. Of course, the bass isn't there, not having a subwoofer, but the sound was actually quite surprisingly good. However, what else does the Viewsonic 3268-4K give you? Well, the included stand is quite simply the best stand I've seen in my life to date. It's actually replacing my 21:9 Samsung monitor, which is phenomenal for gaming, but when it comes to 4K video editing, I think I need a 4K monitor, which I used before the 21:9 Samsung. So this monitor here, the stand will go 90 degrees pivot, it'll go 120 degrees swivel, It also is able to be adjusted height-wise from 510mm from the top of the monitor up to 640mm. So 130mm of height adjustment with this monitor is included. Now the finish on the stand is a matte finish with a slight bit of gloss with the Viewsonic label. Very subtle, looks very clean, and then the monitor itself has a matte finish with a near bezel-less design. It's about 1/2 inch, and so when I measured it, you do get 31.5 inches of viewable display. So they are telling you on the box, and you are getting exactly just that. Of course, the monitor being 32 inches from the end of the bezel diagonally to the other end of the bezel. Though further going into this monitor, of course, it's 4K IPS, it's not VA, it's not TN. The included stand is phenomenal. The design is very clean. Though what is wrong with this monitor? Is there anything that's wrong with this monitor, Brian? Well, honestly, the one thing that I don't like is the on-screen display. It's got 5 buttons on the back, and I found it a little bit tedious to control, especially coming from the Samsung 21x9, which only has 1 button with 4 directions. I'd like to see Viewsonic change this in the future, because this is obviously changing from 5 buttons to 1 button, and it makes things very easy to use. I had a bit of a tough time using the on-screen display, but there were so many different options on this monitor to choose from. So basically, you could go in, change response times, change the input lag. You also had picture-in-picture mode and the ability to split the monitor into different sections. There's HDR10 supported as well, and there's also the ability for overscan, and of course contrast and brightness control, and you can change the profiles to many different professional settings. Of course, out of the box, as I said before, comes with the Srgb format, but there's a lot of different formats to choose from. So I didn't really like the OSD a whole lot. But to be honest, once you set everything up, it's not going to be such a problem, as you do have your custom profiles. So if you want to set one up for photo editing and then one for watching movies, then you can change that on the fly with relative ease. Though of course, are there any other catches with this monitor? Well, not a whole lot. I mean, the panel itself is 8-bit plus FRC, so it's not a true 10-bit display. Though honestly, if you guys want to step it up to a 10-bit display, you're looking at a very expensive workflow, not only just with the monitor itself, which will be amplitudes more expensive than this monitor, but you got to get the graphics card and of course the whole workflow to support that, memory cards, the right camera with 10-bit support, and it will cost you a lot of money. Though this monitor itself, it comes in currently at 1,300 Australian dollars, or if you're in the US, you can currently pick it up on Amazon for around about 860 US. So what you're getting for the money out of the box is something that comes color calibrated, and it has all the specs to match what you would need out of a professional grade video editing monitor or photo editing or print press monitor if you so wish. And here's where things get a little bit weird, because even though this monitor, as I said before, is geared up towards 4K professional work, it actually doubles down as a phenomenal gaming monitor. And you're probably thinking, oh well, color accuracy. I'm not too keen on color accuracy as a gamer. I want saturated colors. Let me tell you guys, this thing, color accurate or not, is a phenomenal monitor for gaming. It's so sharp, the colors do indeed pop if you want them to. So you just turn up the brightness a little bit if you want to start gaming, and it's even got gaming profiles locked in that'll give you that saturated look if you so wish. So it does have all the perks of being a great secondary gaming monitor. Low input lag, great response times for an IPS panel, which on the box are measured at 14 milliseconds gray to gray. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's a horrible number, especially when TN is boasting 2 milliseconds and 1 millisecond. And the bottom line is, some manufacturers honestly state their gray to gray response times, and some just buff it up according to one point that they did in their tests. Viewsonic are giving you guys an honest gray to gray response time, and I really respect that. And honestly, after looking at this monitor, I'm shocked. I want to see what their gaming monitors would be like, because to me, this is what a gamer would need. Low input lag, great response times. Viewsonic have done a great job with this monitor at aiming it towards professionals, but also having those features there for gamers. And I've got myself now a new 4K video editing monitor that is going to replace my Samsung monitor. And yes, the Samsung monitor will be sorely missed, and I do love that for gaming, but the problem is, not all games support 21x9, and even if they do, they stretch the image out. And then of course, when it comes to 4K video editing, this thing has more screen real estate, and a 4K screen capture has never been easier. Perhaps I should make a separate video with 21x9 ultra wide versus 16x9 4K. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, with this being an IPS panel, the viewing angles are phenomenal, both on the horizontal and vertical planes. They beat that of both a VA and a TN panel. Also with this monitor itself, there is no dead pixels, and I do believe Viewsonic offer a very solid warranty with this monitor for 3 years in Australia and New Zealand. I'm not sure about other parts in the world. So there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's review. This is the 32-inch 4K Viewsonic monitor. Let me know in the comment section below, have you tried a Viewsonic monitor before? If so, what was your experience like? If not, would you like to try one? This one to the left of me, although it's geared up towards professionals, and yes, the cost is a little bit expensive, what you're getting for the money is phenomenal if you are in a work of video editing. For instance, in the past, you guys have probably noticed some of my edits have come out very weird on the 21:9. Some people went as far as to say that I looked like a lobster on screen, and my friend came over and showed me on his smartphone. I was like, damn, I do look like a lobster. And when I was editing on the 21:9, I was like, hey, this looks all right, looks pretty saturated, looks pretty good. Had I had this monitor edit that video, there would have been no lobsters coming out on screen. So anyway, back on point, this is my first Viewsonic monitor, and I'm already blown away by this thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of their dedicated gaming monitors can do, and I'll give you guys a review of that if one comes through. And I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. Now with the monitor's surface itself, this is really good if you're working in daylight or sunlight. And I do believe Viewsonic offer a very solid warranty with this monitor. But there it is, guys, there it is, the Viewsonic 32-inch 4K monitor. So yeah, there it is, the